For those of you who've just joined, we are going to be talking about if you've been diagnosed with binge eating, if you find yourself overeating on a regular basis, or maybe eating compulsively, and you just don't know where to start. You don't know kind of like, what is it I'm going to do? I've tried so many different things, but nothing seems to be working. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So there are eight things that I suggest to consider when it comes to stopping binge eating and overeating. Now, and I'm going to be jumping into it immediately, so without kind of wasting too much time. Now, the first thing, what I really suggest, and research shows that the biggest reasons for binge eating, for compulsive eating, for overeating is dieting, okay? It's dieting, it's restricting, it's our food rules that we create when it comes to food. A lot of those rules have been conditioned, okay? They're not even your rules. They've been conditioned by the diet industry when they're telling us what foods are good, what food to avoid, like sugar, like carbohydrates, like gluten, like fats. So there are so many rules, and then we don't really know what to do, so we start being scared and start eliminating all those foods. But the problem is, if we think about it on a psychological level, if we are restricting, it's like that child. If you tell a child you can eat anything you like, no, you can play with any toy you like apart from that red truck over there, what do you think this child will want to play with? Well, most people say that red truck. Yeah, we are in the same way. We are exactly the same way. If you tell someone you can eat anything you like apart from that piece of cake, you will want to have that piece of cake. So we will start obsess over it. It starts becoming more appealing. It's like that forbidden fruit, really. And that's what we are doing. So one of the first steps, really, my suggestion is, even if you don't do anything else that I'm going to be talking about today, if you just do the one thing, the biggest thing, like research shows, the biggest reason for binge eating, overeating, compulsive eating is dieting and restricting. It's the food rules that we are creating. If the one thing that you're going to be doing is start challenging those voices, okay, the eating disorder voices or those food rules, unless you have some allergies, okay, so unless your body really can't tolerate gluten, of course, stay away from gluten. But if your body is okay with a little bit amount of bread, go for it, okay? There is the physical side, and then there is also the mental side. Sometimes these strict rules, they create so much emotional pain and discomfort that's causing more damage than if you had like one slice of bread once a week. Okay, sometimes it's a matter of playing with amounts, so quantities, but also how often you have something. It does not mean that we can't have something for the rest of our lives, unless, of course, you're fully allergic to it. But I'm not going to even mentioning that, because that's kind of obvious, right? But if you're okay with it, then maybe think about one food that you have kind of this strict idea that it's forbidden. Maybe leave a comment in the comments. I would love to hear from you. What is the one food that you kind of tend to avoid without actually any specific reasons, other than because maybe you're scared that you will gain weight, or maybe you're scared that you won't be able to stop? So let me know, what is that one food that you tend to avoid or restrict for maybe no specific reasons? For me, it used to be bread. Yeah, I mentioned bread. For me, it used to be bread and peanut butter, because I always really had this feeling, if I have, and that was really the case as well, if I have peanut butter at home, I would eat the entire jar within like 3 or 4 days, because I would just eat it with a spoon. So because of that experience, I started believing that I can't have peanut butter at home. Okay, and I try to avoid it. So I sometimes ask even my partner, can you please hide it somewhere so that I don't know where it is? Okay, but then when I started actually working on my relationship with food, I then so introducing food, and that's my suggestion to you here. So really one thing, as I said, that's the one thing that you do and you take from this call today, is if you just start introducing that food that you feel like you shouldn't be having, because otherwise you will eat all of it at once, you start introducing some of that food on a regular basis. I know that some of you might go, but I will eat it all. Well, you won't if you are always have that. Like even plan it to have every day for the next 3 weeks. Every day for the next 3 weeks. Okay? If it's, let's say, peanut butter, have 1 teaspoon of peanut butter every day for 3 weeks. Now, some people, when I just say that to them, they'll go, oh my God, every day for 3 weeks? Yeah, you have to. So a lot of the time their natural response is like, ooh, I don't want it. So interesting, but you thought you're going to have it all at once. I even with private clients would make a plan with them if, for example, they overeat on chocolate or biscuits, and I say, you plan 1 biscuit a day. You just tell me when you're going to have it. It can be in the evening, can be in the afternoon, but you are going to have it for the next 3 weeks every day and see what happens. I seriously, so far, almost none of my clients came back and said, I ate it all. Most actually said, after a while, I didn't even feel like it. Yeah, so introduce that into your diet on a regular basis, and let's start introducing those fear foods, because then they will lose their power over you and you will have that power back. You will feel so much more in control over that food. Yeah, and in charge. I love that word better. You will feel so much more in charge when it comes to food in general or that specific food. That's point number 1. My suggestion number 2 is looking into body image. Okay, body image is the second reason for eating disorders, disordered eating. It's the body image. It's that pressure that we have on ourselves, what we're supposed to look like, what our body's supposed to be like. And we've been again conditioned through TV, through media, through social media, that's magazines, that's telling us what we're supposed to look like, the way our body's supposed to be. Okay, and then we feel like, well, if I don't fit into that, then I am not good enough, then I am not beautiful enough, not successful enough, I have failed, I will not find a partner who will love me because I am not the certain shape that I kind of have created in my mind. Okay, so that's another problem that we have. So we need to counter condition ourselves. So I call it counter conditioning ourselves. By counter conditioning, what I mean is really unfollow any pages, any people who trigger a sense of I'm not good enough, or oh my God, she looks that way, he looks that way, I need to change myself so that I feel then I am adequate. If someone, even if they're not even promoting something, but maybe just what they're posting, or for whatever reason, if you start comparing yourself, it doesn't mean they're a bad person, it doesn't mean you're a bad person, it just might not be the right environment for you at this stage, at this moment, while you are working on yourself. Counter conditioning, so unfollow anything that makes you feel you need to change in terms of I'm not good enough, that I'm not that I'm inadequate, or things pages that are triggering thoughts like I need to go on a diet, or I need to get those abs. So all those of thoughts that are basically keeping you stuck in that disordered eating mind frame, okay? I also suggest to stop looking at bodies and food pages all the time. Yeah, sometimes we do that too. We kind of look at different people. What do they look like? We start looking at different recipes and keto recipe and paleo recipe and I don't know, all sorts of different recipes and start obsessing over it. Okay, we go too much, focus too much on bodies and food and diet and nutrition, and that becomes our entire life focus. So my suggestion is unfollow all that stuff so that you have capacity, mental capacity to focus on other things in your life. That can be other people in your life, it can be your work, it can be your hobbies, it can be things that you're really passionate about, really connecting with what's feeding you, what's nurturing you, what's soothing you, what makes you feel good, instead of staying stuck in this mindset that brings you down. Okay, so number 3 is looking into what you eat. And what I mean by that is not following a diet. Okay, I do not suggest following a diet, but it might mean that you need to eat a little bit more. So giving yourself permission to eat a little bit more, because if you find yourself having these food cravings all the time, thinking about food all the time, it might mean that you're actually not eating enough calories, okay? Or again, I'm going back to point number 1, that you're restricting too much. So because we have this cycle of restricting and then overeating and then feeling guilty, and then again restricting, overeating, feeling guilty. So we need to stop that restricting and in eating enough calories, and eat also balanced diet. We are just kind of on day 4 in our balanced diet challenge. If you're not with us, if you're not following us, just let me know in the comments that you would like to join the balanced diet challenge, and I'll send you the link. It's a free challenge, 5 days challenge, where I'm just going through what it means to have a balanced diet. Okay, so it's really about integrating all food groups into your diet, having enough calories, having enough food, having protein, having fat, having carbs, because that will help you to stop craving food so much, because you will stabilize your blood sugar. Okay, so the focus is on stabilizing your blood sugar, because that will help you with that. And also have enough nutrients, have enough macronutrients and micronutrients, so your body doesn't kind of ask for food all the time. Yeah, sometimes it's just asking for food, but all we do is we feed our body with empty calories, but it's actually just asking for some nutrients. Yeah, it just can't tell us what exactly we want, our body needs at times. Yeah, so it's just kind of saying I need more, but then we give it more, but it's actually not really what it needs. Okay, so we need to focus on really whole food that gives you enough nutrients, that is feeding your body. Number 4 is emotional management. Number 4, so emotional management to help you to stop overeating. Okay, so in particular, if obviously you tend to numb your emotions when you're sad, when you're frustrated, when you're really emotional and tired, and if you use kind of food to comfort yourself, to soothe yourself, maybe almost like sort of self-medicating yourself, then it's a matter of looking into learning to manage your emotions, to self-soothe yourself in other ways other than food. And food is one option, okay? Food is one option, but there are also other options, like, for example, looking into, if I feel emotional, if I feel sad, connecting with that feelings. Okay, I am sad. Now, where in my body do I feel sad? Even as you see, I naturally place my hands there because that's what I do. I kind of close my eyes and look at, okay, I'm feeling sad. Where can I feel that in my body? Sometimes it's in my heart, sometimes it's in my belly. And if I feel sad, what do I desire? What do I need? Maybe it's some slowing down time. Maybe it's just wrapping up in a blanket, nice and comfortable. And maybe it's just watching something dumb on Netflix, because that's what relaxes me. Maybe it's having a hug and talking to a friend. So really acknowledging and reconnecting with those emotions. Why do I feel sad? Is there something that I need to say to someone? Is there something I haven't said to someone? Is there a message that I need to share? Am I sad because I haven't been doing much for myself lately? So really reconnecting with that emotion inside myself. What is my little self? Yeah, that little child, that inner child. What do I need? What do you need? I got you. I'm here for you. I hear you. I will be looking after you. So it's that self-soothing. Sometimes when we don't learn that when we grow up, that means that we need to learn that when we grow up, because we don't really, like we used to when we were kids, right? We would cry and run over to our parents and they would give us a hug and maybe a lolly. That's how we learned to eat for emotional reasons. And now we're grown up and it's okay, I can soothe that. I can soothe myself. You know, I can give myself a hug. I can give myself a squeeze and wrap up in a blanket, have a hot bath. Yeah, listening to some music, watching Netflix, whatever that is that you require in that moment. So soothing ourselves. So that's 4, okay? 4 to stop overeating and binge eating. Number 5 is habits. So it's important to look into our habits, into our routine, because binge eating or overeating or emotional eating, it often starts because there was kind of like a trigger, or maybe we did that because someone else told us, or maybe we learned that from our parents, right? When we were sad, we got kind of a lolly or a chocolate. So we learned that. Or we grew up and even as an adult, we binged once and then our brain picks up on that. Our brain goes, oh, that feels good. Yeah, I like that. I feel high from that sugar and food and processed food. Next time, I'm going to do it again. So it starts with just a trigger and then kind of that behavior, and then there's a reward, right? Because it feels good. So if we feel there is a reward because it stimulates that reward, that part in our brain, now we're going to do that again, yeah? Because it feels good. So we'll ask it over and over again. So then it becomes a habit. It becomes a routine. So it's a matter of breaking that habit, breaking that routine. And to break that habit is a matter of integrating other things. So let's say maybe emotional eating is something that you do, okay? And that's your go-to. So every time when you're sad or lonely or angry, you go and eat food. Now, maybe make that decision that from now on, if you will feel anger or that certain emotion, you will do self-soothing. So you will do something that you decide you're going to be doing. Okay, it could be, okay, next time when I'm angry, I will just go on a run or on a walk and with some music. Or every time when I'm angry, I will actually just sit with it and say, you know what, I can be angry. It's okay. It's okay. It will pass. I don't need to work on that. I don't need to even change that, because that anger came. So you know it will go, right? Like any emotions, they come and they go. So sometimes even that can be something that you do. You decide, instead of eating, I'm just going to be sitting with this feeling. I'm strong enough that I can sit in it. Or we go into the self-soothing of, what is it that I need? What is it that I require? Yeah. What does my heart desire? So that can be even just that. So breaking that habit, breaking routine by integrating something else that you can do. Number 6, and it goes really hand in hand with number 5. So integrating something into your life that really matters to you. Because a lot of the time, binge eating and overeating, and the reason why we use, we use food as a drug to entertain ourselves or comfort ourselves. That's because there's not enough pleasure or joy in our life, so we don't have other things, and food becomes that only joy that we have, and it's our go-to. So every time I feel sad, I go and eat because I get pleasure. Every time I'm lonely, I go and eat because that gives me something to do and I feel like I'm not alone. I don't think about it. Yeah, so it numbs my kind of thoughts for that moment. So it's important that we change the focus from food to then other things in our life. So integrating hobbies, integrating something that's meaningful to you. What is that something that you always wanted to do, always wanted to try, but have had 1,000 excuses and reasons why you haven't been doing that? What is that in your life? So maybe that's time to do that, yeah? Maybe you always wanted to go and try yoga. Go and try a yoga class. Maybe you will love it. Maybe that will become your new hobby. Maybe you always wanted to learn and paint. Go and try a course or just do it on your own at home, yeah? And do some painting. So something else that you can focus on that gives you pleasure. Because when we have pleasure in other things, in other areas of our life, we then don't require food to always give us that pleasure. Food is pleasure, don't get me wrong, but it should not be the only source of pleasure in our life. So we need to have that balance, okay? Otherwise we start leaning onto one side and it becomes then just food is the one thing that we do, that we go to. Food, it becomes a friend, a lover, a mother, parents, family, all of that, okay? But food is actually just food. So it's up to us to create that balance in our life. And then number seven is to talk to a friend. Guys, it's so important to stop holding that in, and because the more we hold in, the more we feel like we are the only one, so we feel really bad and sad and disconnected and lonely, so we go then back to food to get that connection, to feel that soothing, that comfort, to feel like we belong somewhere. Okay, so it's really important. Find someone who you feel like is not going to be judging you, who is open to just listen and talk to you. Go and talk to your friend. Be open about it. And if you're not comfortable, there is a Facebook group. You can join our Facebook group. It's Finding Freedom with Food. You can find that on Facebook and join our group as well. And I'll add a link below as well. So you can join us there. It's a free group, okay? And of course, number 8, seek help. Seek help and support. Please don't wait for too long. Life is way too short. Life is way too short to be constantly thinking and worrying about food in your body and not having the mental capacity to enjoy your family, to enjoy your children while they're growing up, to really even be present with people around you, not to go and experience things like tramping and going to the beach and doing these things that really matter to you. Life is way too short. Go get and seek help, get support. It can be me, it can be other people. I don't really mind. Find someone who really resonates with you, who you feel like is on the same level as you are, or you just feel like they can hear you, you feel heard and supported, and just get that support and help. It's really worth it, okay? So many people who came to me and said, God, I wish I would have received help years ago, but I haven't. But you know what? The best time best time was yesterday. What was it? The best time was 10 years ago. The second best time was yesterday. And why not doing it today? I know I got it wrong, but that's all right. You know what I mean. So it's better to get it today than never. So get that support and get that help. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Message me directly, eugenia@mindfoodness.nz, or just send me a message. I am here to fully guide you, to support you, to help you guys. I have dedicated my life. I've been there. I know what it feels like. I suffered from an eating disorder over 10 years. I had it all, including binge eating, including compulsive eating, and including orthorexia. I know what it's like, and I do not wish it to anyone. And I really hope that you guys don't wait as long as I did, which is, as I said, over 10 years, because it was just nobody spoke about it. I didn't even know where to get help or support. So therefore I do what I did today. So let me know if there's something that I can do for you.